Hi there. So we've been playing with Meyers' rondel dagger from the Art of Combat from 1570, and we were put on the right track by Mr. David Rawlings. I had the pleasure of training with him in January this year. He's an amazing instructor. He runs London Longsword Academy. If you have the chance, go look him up. Take a private lesson, join one of his classes. He's amazing. Anyways, when I met him, and we're only doing dagger because that's my main interest. So he was really particular about holding the Uberhut correctly, right? And I was in the beginning. I was like, yeah, I get why. Of course, in the beginning I wanted to hold my hand, but that's because you're lazy. Going to hold the hand all the way back here, right? And why was he so particular? Well, his argument was that because if I hold it here, every attack that's coming towards me is going to come from below this area, which is almost completely true. I basically agree on what he's saying. Of course, if the other one has an overhoot, it might come slightly from above, but then you actually still can catch it, so it's still a good idea to have it back here. And I see, if you look at his students, if you look at the videos of himself or his students, he's really particular about them having it all the way back here. So, actually I think they are almost back here, whereas I have a tendency to be here. But I think this is actually more correct. Anyways, he's holding his hand back here, and why is that? In the manuals, you always see this in the Uberhut. Well, as I said, I agree with Dave, but I also found more reasons for it. First of all, and this came out through sparring, my attack is actually not only, but has its most dangerous point up until here. So if I keep my hand here, I took away my ability to attack by 70%. Because attacking like this is because most of the power and the thrust comes up until this point. From here, down here. From here, I can thrust forward, I can assist thrust forward with my hand. Otherwise, I'm reduced to actually cutting from here and down. And cutting from here and down, well, if I'm fighting a midget or if I'm fighting somebody who's on the ground. But otherwise, this is actually a bad position to generate power. Then the unterhut is a lot better. So the Uberhut, like this, is good for that. Also, if you get your hand down there, and of course when we're sparring, this happens. People get lazy, they get tired in their arms fall down, or they think it's more, they feel that they are defending themselves with the point here. But actually, when people hold your hand here, this blade is posing very little threat to the opponent's offhand. So he can very easily go in and trap the hand here, and then of course you're pretty fucked, because then he basically has a knife and you don't. So just going in and trapping is fairly easy when it's down here. If it's up here, you could say, yeah, he could attack your elbow. Yeah, he can. But remember, I'm not standing with this in front. Then it would be a completely different story. I'm standing with this in back. So if you're going to attack here, I'm not going to stand still. I'm going to go back, right? Or indeed, if I'm attacking, I'm going to go forward. And this is also the thing. Once I step forward, I'm not stepping forward and then bringing it down. It comes as one motion, right? So it comes down. Alright, unterhut. Meyers dagger, unterhut. Okay? So this is the basic position, right? Down here. Now, this is presented as the second guard. And I actually think this is, pedagogically speaking, quite wise. He's presenting the most important guard, the Uberhut, then he's presenting the unterhut, which is the second most important guard. Because if you cut here, you will cut back up, for example, afterwards. You will not just bring it back up here to cut down, which of course you can, but you cut here, you could cut back up. Or defend back up, of course, as the case may be, in all these things. So that's actually quite wise. Also, it is a position where you can still generate quite a lot of power by not having it up here. Because holding your ice pick grip kind of limits the amount of angles you can attack from with a good with a good amount of force. You can, yeah, sure, you can attack all around here, and maybe out to this point. But seriously, to create and to be a real danger for your opponent, it is more likely that these are like your main. And also the difference, honestly, come on, the difference between me attacking like this or attacking like this or attacking like this, it is basically the same thing. They all come from the Uberhut, right? All of these. And the unterhut comes here, comes here, comes here. It's basically everything from here. And then you have the mittelhut, but I'm going to do that later. So this is the second, your second attack or defense. So it's quite smart. And it is also, this, as I said, the second most important or second most efficient. The mittelhut, which is maybe one of my least favorite ones, I think is actually included both because it says to keep it at the belt, but I would say that people tend to wear their belts a bit higher in the Middle Ages than what we do now. I have mine kind of on the hips. It's not down here, it's more like here. And it is to be somewhere in the middle between here and here, and is to say, okay, you can sometimes defend in this position as well, here, or attack for that matter. But attacking here, yes you can, but compared to this, it's a lot less efficient. And actually also compared to this, it has less power. Here, you can attack forward, or you can assist attack forward, but that's about it. You don't have the same amount of options. Now, third is the kreutzhut. Is absolutely my least favorite one. Oh, back to the mittelhut, I forgot one thing. I think that this is because, as I said, the belt, this is also where you would kind of keep your knife somehow, either hanging here if you have a bollock knife or a rondel dagger behind here, but still it would be in the region of where you would draw your weapon. So it is a drawing position. This is like, oh my shit, you didn't have time to draw your weapon and get into a proper guard. Okay, so we're going to go from here and up. Well, that's why also the reason why it's included. The kreutzhut is my least favorite one. It comes either here and sometimes even locked like this. It is better than just cross blocking like this, which is fucking ridiculous against the knife in my opinion. However, adding the knife blade in makes it slightly better. I'm still not a huge fan. However, in my opinion, it is included most of all to defend, because it's very useful to defend against longer weapons with more power. Like if you you only had a knife and somebody attacked you with a longsword, this actually might be a good way of parrying, because you need the support. If you're going to try to parry a longsword, which comes from wrath guard like this, woohoo, and you're going to say, oh, I'm going to block it like this. It's probably not going to happen, right? You're just going to just fold in your wrist and go straight through. So you need the extra block. So that's why I'm thinking that this is if your opponent attacks with a more powerful weapon than you have. Longer, bigger, heavier. Alright, so these are my thoughts on the guard so far. I would love to hear your opinions.